Alrighty. So, a lot of things happened since the last devlog. Um, First of all, I scrapped the entire first draft of the project. It's gone. I have spent the last probably week rebuilding this game from the ground up. The reason why I did this is when I first started developing using Claude, um, I was creating hard coded assets that I thought would be easy to remove and replace with actual assets later. That turned out not to be the case. Every single time I tried removing an asset and putting in one that I made in AssetPrite, it basically broke the game. And I would have to spend hours trying to fight it and wrestle it back, and it still wasn't doing what I wanted it to do. So I said, screw it. I scrapped it. I did not want it to follow me the entire rest of development. And I wasn't far enough in that it mattered. So I just restarted. And this is a new project. Let's get into it now. So there's a lot of errors there right now. We're just going to pretend that those don't exist. So here's where we're at. The game right now, another thing is that it's a lot more organized because I created most of these nodes myself and wired them. The only thing that Cursor did was code. By the way, another thing that's going to change is I'm pretty sure that Claude is going to be out of the equation for the next at least couple of months of development, simply because, and I'll put a video up here in a minute, the usage rates have gotten absolutely ridiculous. I get 3 prompts out of them, and it's, 3 prompts an hour is not exactly a workflow make. So if it's not useful, I'm not paying for it. And I've gotten comfortable enough with Cursor, and I know how to budget my usage, which is monthly, by the way. So if I don't use Cursor for the 3 days in a row, I can have a huge session. Can't do that with Claude. Claude just backs you into 5, so you get like the FOMO. If I don't get on my computer and start coding every 5 hours on the hour, I'm missing out. So Cursor is the way to go for me right now. Okay. So I'm not very good at modeling people. So I used Claude to try to get me a basic character model that I can put in. And now this used 80% of my hourly session. And it also took about 30 minutes to make this. And this is what I got. Yeah, Claude has a lot more limitations than it used to. You can't convince me otherwise. So let me show you around. I have AssetPrite Wizard obviously loaded in. It's just basic, necessary. Um, and then here I have some assets. So this is a sprite sheet. This is my player character. Um, then I have some other things. So added like an aiming. You can't see it. Oh, you can't see these because these aren't PNGs. These are AssetPrite files. That's fine. I'll show you in a minute anyway. But anyway, those are all my assets right now. And then I also had to, and this is for collision reasons. As you can see up here, I have multiple different like layers for tile maps. This is so I can create different physics for each tile map much easier, and also layer what you can see through and what you can't see through. For instance, a player goes under trees, player doesn't go over trees. That just makes it easier for me anyway. Probably not the best way to do it. That's how I'm doing it right now. And then you got the character body and the golf ball. So let's go out of that one, and now we are into scenes. So this is the big game changer. I can now see every single scene. I can create it myself. I can visually edit so much easier now. So here I created, let's not go with that one first. So here's the UI I created. So this is the overall game UI. Uh, Ignore that. That's hopefully a temporary thing. Um, so we have the power meter, we have the accuracy, and then underneath the power meter, we also have the accuracy meter. So I'll show you these. This is our accuracy meter. This is our power meter. And then one you guys have not seen yet is going to be the strike. So this is the third step in the process. So you can do power, then you do accuracy, and then you actually have to hit the ball. So this will decide that. I also created a little golf ball right there, and a little player. He is animated, not very well. Need to add a lot more animations and fix his current animations. He looks very stiff, and he doesn't look right when he walks sideways. The other thing I added was the ability to aim shots. So this is the overall shot aiming window. Basically, we got the little golf ball, we got the character sprite, and then we have an aiming arrow. It's not very good right now. I will refine this. It's just in the game, so I can test it a little better. Oh, and by the way, also with the UI, the only thing that's really set up right now is the power meter. The accuracy and the strike are more for show. And then here's my scripts. So let's check out the game itself now. So here we are. One thing I've added is so I got like water collision, and then over here, see I need to fix this layering with the player. He has what is it? Collision with the tree trunks, but not the trees. But then if we go over to the golf ball, and we hit a shot into the trees, bounces off the tree. I am going to add physics like in the last game where when it makes collision with the tree, it decides, do you just go through the tree, lose a little bit of distance, or do you have a direct hit and you ricochet backwards, back into this area. Right now for scaling, each tile is about 5 yards tall and wide. I think that creates a pretty decent sense of scale. And once I added a mini map, it will make the game much more playable. Mini map is definitely one of the next things that needs to be added. So now that we've checked out that, let's check out what I've been doing over here in Aseprite. So first, what I want to start out with is I broke up every single uh, tile map. See? So the reason I did that, even though it does make developing the game a little bit tougher, is that I can set up different physics for each tile map much easier than when they're all lumped together. Maybe I'm wrong about that. That's my thought process. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong about that. The next thing that I've been working on has been some of the vehicles. Now we are way a ways out from actually using vehicles in this game. Once I need to nail down how the actual golf mechanics work, because a fun game will not sell. That's why they say to make sure your game is functional. Um, so, but I was getting so tired of just wiring up different functionalities and stuff. I needed a break. I needed to do something that I enjoyed. So I started doing a little bit of pixel art, which I picked up shockingly well. This was my first attempt. I drew this van myself with a reference that I think I trash, but I got a reference from the internet and I based it off this. Then I also created this one. So this is going to be like the second vehicle. It's going to be the first upgrade you can possibly get. And I chose a truck camper because I think they're cool, and I would like to get a truck camper eventually. But this will be the first upgrade, don't know what it's going to entail yet. Maybe slightly better gas mileage, more space for sure. Maybe it's a comfier sleeping situation, so you regain health, or not health, but you know what I mean. Then the next thing that I added was this. I call it the road animation, and I'm pretty psyched about this. So this will be like the home screen, is my plan. Basically, you'll have, like play games, settings, whatever else you need in a home screen. And then as you're like looking through, your golfer is driving to the next location. And this is just going to play in the background. Um, this will also be used in the game for like when you're driving around the states or your state, getting from one tournament to the next, getting from home, wherever you gotta be. This is the animation that will play, and it can work with any of the vehicles that I might add. So I'm really, really happy with this. Okay, guys, so I figured I would do the outro over a video of me very jankily animating the actual driving sequence that I just showed you guys. But I just want to say that this has been awesome. I've been able to learn so much about this game engine and game design. One thing particular that sticks out to me that I've learned so far is do something and do it right. If you half-ass a system, then come back to it later, you're going to be hurting because you're going to design all these other systems around this half-assed system, and it's not going to work well. So the number one thing I've learned so far has been do it once, do it right. Um, Another thing I wanted to say is that I am going to probably bring a friend in to help me finish up development. Or not finish up development, we are ways away, but help me continue development so that we can make this game the best we can. Um, Anything else? Oh, yes. Restarting was probably one of the best decisions I could have made in this game so far. It sucked. It was a really bitter pill to swallow, and I had to think about it for a long time. But redoing it has allowed me to really learn the game system. And here's the thing, guys. If I can do it, you can definitely do it because I've never once touched really a game engine before, and now here I am creating, albeit quite jankily right now, but hopefully eventually quite a good game. Um, the way I did it was simply by using AI to ask it questions. So I didn't have to go and look through tutorials, and I was able to learn the game engine just from asking questions. If I got stuck, it's like having a developer right next to me saying, here's what you did wrong, and here's how you fix it. But anyway, that's going to be it for this week. Hopefully, I make a lot more progress next week, considering that we are basically at the same point of development. I need to add a lot more functionality, but then I want to eventually move on to some other aspects of the game. Thanks for all for watching.